Hey everybody, welcome back to Vegas Tips and Tricks Weekly, the second of our graduate courses on Las Vegas. Today we're calling it Vegas 602 and subtitling Do It Again. Hey, if you enjoy our program, please hit that like button, leave a comment, and if you haven't, please subscribe. It costs you nothing and it really helps us out. A few little housekeeping notes. I have decided we are going to do a live stream on May 31st, the very last day of the month. We really don't do these on a monthly basis anymore, although we did do the group sort of roundtable during April. But we'll do a regular old school live stream, and we'll talk a little bit about John Timber. So something to look forward to. We'll get the thumbnail, get that put together sometime by next weekend. Yes, we're in the car again. Yes, we're at kind of another angle. I'm kind of sitting in the back seat today, and well, it's not ideal lighting, but this is about as good as I've been able to find. So, really beautiful couple of days here in the Midlands. Cool breezes, sunny, very nice, and not particularly oppressively hot. So we'll see how long that lasts. Okay, so today, as I said, the subtitle of today's episode is Do It Again. And so, I mean, probably the one thing that every repeat Vegas visitor experiences from time to time is people saying, "You're going back to Vegas again? Don't you want to go somewhere else? I mean, why do you keep going back?" Well, and obviously for those of us who've come to love the place and feel like it's kind of another home away from home, and who've met so many friends who also frequent Vegas, who you may very well run into on your next trip, that's certainly a big part of it. And Vegas has a lot going for it. It's a great sort of resort destination. Maybe you love to lay out by the pool. Maybe you love to sit and play video poker at the bar. It's some of those touchstones that you return to again and again. Maybe it's the Bellagio fountains. Maybe it's hitting up Fremont Street at night for the light show. Could be a lot of different things. Maybe it's just eating at a particular restaurant. Maybe it's going to Denny's or In-N-Out Burger or something because you don't have one where you live. But certainly one of the challenges for repeat Vegas visitors is to make it different, is to turn it into something other than just a repeat. Sometimes people ask me and are kind of amazed that I can remember as much as I do about certain trips to Las Vegas over the years. And I think probably next week we are going to do, by the way, a Vegas memory show. I think we'll be up to 2019. So we're really starting to get into the meetups and things like that. But yeah, I mean, it can easily become a rut, but it doesn't need to be. And so today we're going to talk about three things. There they are, three things, three topics that can help you as a repeat Vegas visitor get more out of the experience than just doing the same thing again and again, which is also fun. We're going to start out with topic number one, which I'm calling bucket list. And that may be a bit of an exaggeration, but almost all of us who have been to Vegas, even if we've been there many, many times, have things that we've always kind of wanted to do and never quite gotten around doing. Maybe they're big things. Maybe you've never been to the Venetian. You've never stayed in that part of Las Vegas and you've never made it in. Or you've never gone to the top of the Strat. Maybe you've never gone downtown. These can all be sort of bucket list items, things that you haven't done that you'd like to do. So the first thing I would recommend to you as a repeat visitor is kind of brainstorm this thing out maybe a couple of months before you head to Vegas. Just make a list. This list could be a handful of items. It could be dozens of items. of things that you'd like to do in Las Vegas that you've never quite gotten around to. And some of these things may not work on your particular trip. Maybe one of the things you'd like to do is go to a Golden Knights hockey game. Well, if you're going to be there in August, you're not going to go to a hockey game. Or you want to go to a Raiders football game. Well, you're going to be there in March. You're not going to be able to go. But, you can write that stuff down. And then, go through that list, see what things might be realistic for you to do. And again, sometimes they may not be realistic things, say, hey, I want to shoot craps for, I want to play $100 a hand blackjack or something. That's going to be a very special situation that most people probably aren't going to be able to do, at least not do for very long. But look at that list, see if there are things on it that can easily work into what you're doing already on your next trip. And if there are things on there that really are bucket list items, let's try to do them, okay? You just never know. This could conceivably be your last trip to Vegas or your last trip in some time to Las Vegas. Things come up in life. Financial situations, health situations, just things with your family that you cannot always account for. This may be your last chance for some time to take advantage of those things. So make a list, check it twice, and in particular, look at those things that you really feel like, God, I want to do these. Make it happen. That's number one. Number two is what I would say compartmentalize your trip. And I've talked about this even with folks on their first trips to Las Vegas. Excuse me, I'm going to have a little sip of coffee. But, if you're only going to be in town for a few days and you're a repeat visitor, don't try to do too much. Don't try to go all over the place. Compartmentalize your trip. Take a trip and just stay downtown. Take a trip and just stay on the South Strip. Heck, you could probably take a trip and never leave Caesar's Palace, MGM Grand, Venetian. Those are possibilities. There's so much to do in each individual part of Las Vegas. And we get so distracted by feeling like, oh, well, I better go check out the fountains or go to the volcano. I feel like I better go to, the north end of the strip, or I need to go downtown. Don't force yourself into one of those categories. Go pick a spot. If you're going to be there for just a few days, just stay in that part of Las Vegas and really explore everything that area has to offer. You'll be surprised. You'll find a restaurant that you thought was just junk. You'd be like, wow, these guys have like the best French fries anywhere. And then you've got a click, you can head back on another trip. And even if you're going to be in town longer, maybe 5 or 6 days, split your hotel stay. Spend 2 or 3 days in one part of Las Vegas, spend 2 or 3 days in another part of Las Vegas. Again, I've mentioned this so many times, even with the introductory classes. I don't know how many times I've seen people with itineraries that are like, okay, I'm staying at Mandalay Bay. I'm going to get up. I'm going to have breakfast at Peppermill. And then I'm going to have lunch at Ocean's One because I want that cheap lunch special. And then I'm going to go to the Las Vegas sign. And then I'm going to go downtown for the light show. And I'm like, why are you bouncing all over the place? When you contain yourself, when you compartmentalize your trip, then you're in a place where you can really explore and learn even more about Las Vegas. And, frankly, if you're a repeat visitor to Las Vegas like myself, you're also a resource to other people. And not just a resource to other people, a resource to yourself, your family, your close friends for future trips. So check out new things in sort of, smaller areas and don't try to do everything. Sorry, I'm sneezing today for some reason and my nose is itching, but no helicopters so far. So again, to sort of summarize, 1, make a list, check it twice, a bucket list. find some things you can do on this trip that you've always wanted to do. Second, if it's a short trip or even if it's a longer trip, compartmentalize yourself. Spend some time really getting to know certain parts of the Las Vegas Strip or downtown even. Or what we're going to talk about next, the third category is get around. And I haven't really been talking about a lot of the channels on the show. There are a lot of Vegas channels of locals. There's some really good channels, some people that do regular live streams, and the people that go around and review restaurants and and even go stay at hotels, even though they're local. I could go through some of these people, but you probably know them. You've probably seen them. Obviously, being local, you have a great opportunity to go a lot of places, check out a lot of things that the visitor doesn't really have time to do because they're only going to be there generally a short period of time. I wanted to call attention to my friends Tamara and Gord, Vegas Best Ideas, because it kind of goes hand in hand with my third suggestion, and that is get around town. Check out Las Vegas as if you were a local. Get to know parts of the city that most tourists never do. And that doesn't mean just staying at an off-strip property. It probably also means, getting around to, bars and restaurants and activities that might be more like what locals do. And that's what Tamara and Gord do very, very well. I mean, they come to Las Vegas sometimes for, 3 or 4 weeks. I know it's their hope one day to at least have a home in Las Vegas for part of the year. And so, for someone that's going to be there that long, they can't really just hang out on the strip. And so they've gotten to know people. They've made friends of other locals in Las Vegas, and they've looked all around the city. They've found the fun little breakfast spot that you don't know about. They've found the best place to buy liquor or groceries. They found the little motel or hotel way off the strip that's really a diamond in the rough. And there is so much to do outside of the main tourist areas. And if you've done a lot of those things, why not take a day or two on your next trip, rent a car, because you almost have to, but it's prohibitive to get around the valley by cab or Uber. And even though the public transit is pretty good in Las Vegas, you really don't want to spend so much of your time on vacation waiting for buses, or for that matter, even riding them. So you'll want to rent a car. It's not as cheap as it used to be. You can still find a deal once in a while, but not just to go hit up the touristy spots, though. That's not a bad idea either. If you've never been to Hoover Dam, if you've never been to Valley of Fire, never been to Red Rock, never been to Mount Charleston, never been to Death Valley. You can go far, afield if you want to, all the way to the Grand Canyon, to some of the national parks in Utah. Those are longer trips, and frankly, I think places like the Grand Canyon and Canyonlands, Arches, that sort of thing, I think it deserves more than just a couple hours looking around. But hey, it's certainly an option for you to check out some of those national parks and the amazing scenery in and around Las Vegas. But I'm really talking more about getting to know the city of Las Vegas the way a local may. And it's also perhaps again a great way to make friends with some locals. I talked at the beginning of the show how great it is once you become a Vegas veteran and you get to know some people. Almost inevitably, if you go back to town, you're going to have friends that are going to be there at the same time, which is an amazing, fun experience. But imagine locals. You get invited to barbecues, for example, or they show you around to places you might not otherwise see. And it's a great way to, again, enhance your knowledge about Las Vegas, and you'll find some things that you never imagined you'd find, and places that you'll once again want to repeat. And, even as a repeat visitor, as a regular Las Vegas visitor, there are things that you're going to want to do again and again. And so, today's show's really about trying to explore some new ideas, take advantage of some activities, some establishments that you may not have thought about. If you have any tips for repeat visitors to Las Vegas, please consider leaving them in the comments below. We will be back on Wednesday with another one of our Vegas tips and tricks shorts on yet another Las Vegas resort. And we'll be back a week from today with another episode of Vegas Tips and Tricks Weekly. Until then, I hope you have a great, lucky, and healthy week. We'll talk to you all again real soon. Bye-bye.